I'm telling you, I'll tell you who I'm waiting to hear that from, an airline. I'm not going to hold my breath. So, excuse me, pardon me if there's any airline representatives in the room today. So, let me talk about one other concept. And this is a chapter in the book I call the Alpha Audience. This is the chapter that has ignited the most conversation. It's the big idea that a lot of people have really been attracted to in the book. Now, as I said, for most companies, this elite group of customers who share your content the most, it's less than 2%. It's less than 2%. This is research from the Boston Consulting Group. They wrote this report after I wrote my book. They called this the Apostle Audience. All right? I called it the Alpha Audience. They called it the Apostle Audience. This is the group of people that spread your word like an apostle. They share your content. This is what Boston Consulting Group says these people do. This 2% of your audience is responsible for 20% of your sales. They're pumping up the volume about you. This is the content that people trust. They're responsible for 8 times the amount of sales that they generate themselves through their word of mouth advocacy. And they're your most profitable customers because they love you. They believe in you. You're the heroic brand to them. They're your most profitable customers because they don't wait for sales. They just love you. They're going to buy from you. They're going to recommend you because there's an emotional attachment. So I want to make a couple observations about this. In our business, we see a lot of writing, a lot of blog posts about how to drive massive traffic to your website, how to drive massive traffic to your content. And there's certainly a business model for traffic. But for most of us and most of our companies, we want to find people who are going to buy something. And I asked one of these bloggers, I said, why do you keep blogging about massive traffic? They're tourists. Look at the analytics, right? They come and they go and they don't stick around. And he said, where there's traffic, there's hope. And I just thought, that is really a lousy strategy. If I went into my boss and said, my strategy is based on hope, I would probably get kicked out of the door. So what I want to challenge you today is we know that this alpha audience, the people who share our content the most, this is the bedrock of our business. This drives the economics of social media and content marketing today. Why aren't we putting our resources in building that trust? Why aren't we doing everything we can do to say we will never let you down instead of focusing on traffic? Isn't that the strategy in this information-dense world? It's going to get worse. If you think it's hard now, it's going to get worse. And I'm telling you, we need to think about this idea of trust. Wouldn't this be amazing? What would this do to drive change in your company? If you said today, 2% of our customers are sharing our content. Our marketing strategy for 2016 is to make that 3%. Our marketing strategy for 2017 is to make that 4%. Your competitors wouldn't even know what hit them because you're creating advocacy, and advocacy drives sales. It's the most important thing to win in this information-dense world. I want to leave you with one last thought. I wrote a book a couple years ago on influence marketing. And I interviewed a guy named Dr. Robert Cialdini. He's a name that might be familiar to many of you. He's a great academic. He was at Arizona State. he wrote the first books on power and influence in the workplace. And I said, Dr. Cialdini, in this world of incredible information density, how do we stand out? And he said something so simple and so profound, and the longer I'm in this business, I know how right he was. He said, be more human. Be more human. I think this is the killer app. I think it doesn't matter what they throw at you. It doesn't matter how much information comes at us. It doesn't matter what the next big social media platform is going to be. The most human company will win, because in our hearts, this is who we buy from. We buy from people that we know, we like, and we trust. And we have an extraordinary opportunity to use this technology to really connect in a new way, to scale this person-to-person connection. If you look at the biggest companies and the biggest brands, their marketing strategy is, how do we connect our people to the people who need us? We have to remember that every one of these leads is someone who they might be suffering. They might be experiencing joy. Maybe they just got married. Maybe they just had their first child. But I think this is the killer app, to be more human, because this human connection leads to awareness. Awareness leads to trust. And trust leads to loyalty. And that trumps everything. So thank you very much. It's been absolutely delightful meeting you and listening